welcome back. Happy Friday to everyone. I hope you're having a great week so far. So I'm really excited to share with you this project that I have today. I have been challenging myself to share some projects that are a little bit less complicated, have some easier folding techniques, and definitely less math involved. This base is created with just one sheet of 12 by 12 paper. It's very simple. I added on a couple of outside layers just so I can include some additional pattern papers, but I really love how it turned out. It was very easy to make. It went very quickly. It used up quite a lot of paper, so we can all appreciate that. I think we're all using up our collections as best we can, and the added bonus of not having to drag the glue gun downstairs was enough incentive for me to make a clean and simple, you heard it here, I did it, no flowers, no leaves, no trims. It just looks cute how it is, and it's perfectly summery for the season. So if you're interested in creating this book as well, stick with me and we'll make it together. Here's the paper pad that we're working with today. This is When Life Gives You Lemons. It's a hot buy paper pad. I picked it up from Michael's. I am obsessed with the beautiful vintagey retro color palette. Has all these warm, rich colors, but having very stylized flowers and the gold foiling really updates this collection of papers that work so well together. And I have really enjoyed using the cutter parts as well, and we're going to use quite a few of them in our project today, but I just wanted to show you this is definitely worth checking out if you have a Michael's around. This is just beautiful single-sided paper. I think that would also be very ideal for travel or notebooks if that's something that you want to work with. Also, for the project we have today, it's a little bit thinner, and that helps to reduce some of the bulk, and it will hold a beautiful shape. So another thing that I want to work on today is utilizing some of these 12 by 12 pages that have the giant sentiment in the middle. I don't know why they include these in paper pads or who can actually use them, but we're going to cut our paper today. I'll show you how I can utilize the beautiful border with the lemons and the leaves, and then we'll just disguise the middle portion. So we're going to get some use out of this, and normally I don't have any way to utilize it, so I feel like this is a good way to get through more of the paper pad, and that appeals to me for sure right now. I'm looking to get through a lot of paper, so I don't want to move it. I just want to utilize it and move on and find new collections to work with. Also, this paper pad has really great cut apart sheet, different kind of sizes. Some are 3 by 4 orientation, some are 3 by 3. There's some sentiment strips in here as well. We're also going to utilize the border strip. Is that something that I normally don't use, but this one is so pretty and it has that gold foil, so I really will enjoy using that. So let's work on the base. Okay, here's my base. This is a sheet of 12 by 12, 65 pound weight cardstock. You don't want to go with the 110 because it'll be too bulky and it will be difficult to fold. My base is 12 by 12. I'm going to score it at 4 inches all the way down, and then again at 8, and that just portions it into thirds. I'll flip it around now and then score it at 6, so just in half this way. I'll come back in with my scissors and cut to the center part of one side so I can move the flaps around and have them folded on different sides. That helps to reduce the bulk, so this book will fold up accurately. And then so it's kind of an accordion style now. I can put these in whatever direction I like, but I like this one just because I want my flap to be on the front and then on the back as well. And that's where we're going to add the additional items on. So I'm going to call these folded add-ons because they're not really inserts, but this just helps to increase the square footage of our album here and give us more room to put all of those beautiful pattern papers. So my add-on is 6 inches by 8 1/8. I have it scored at 4 and then at 4 1/8. That's going to give me just enough room to have extra paper layering on the inside, and it will still fold correctly. So I have one for each side, and I want it to open like a regular book. So I'm just going to add it here on to the bottom and line it up with that first score line. That way I'll have the thickness of the spine on the very edge. and I'm putting that on with my double-sided adhesive tape. So now this first fold is going to have a left folding and then a top folding portion. I'll do the same thing on this side, and I still want it to open this way. So I've got the very same thing here, and I'm going to add it just the same way. This adds quite a few extra pages to the book and helps it to be a little bit more sturdy as well. Because these are all the same size, everything should line up and be easy to assemble. So here is the front, and then it will open, and then the inside will open as well. So this is more of a 2-page layout, and then the back will open, and then also open this way, and then continue flipping over. This 2-page has another flip up here on the side. Let's work on the pattern paper now. Okay, so the base is going to be 4x6. The pattern paper that I'm putting on top is 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. That's going to give it that nice border around. It's a great finishing detail, and because this book has pages that are all the same size, you can cut them very easily, and you're going to be able to utilize most of your 12 by 12 pattern papers without creating a lot of offcuts, and I really appreciate that. So let's work on getting these pattern papers added. So I'm just gonna flip that open so it'll be easier to add my papers, and I've got that gorgeous plaid. I'm going to be using that for most of the front and back folded add-ons, just because I really like it to be consistent, and this was my favorite pattern, so I wanted it to be featured very prominently on the front and back cover. Here is one of the journal cards, and I did cut it down just a little because remember it's 4x6. I wanted to have a little bit of flower detail, but I'm not going to add all the dimensional things on, so I'm going to get all the details from the patterns on the paper. We're going to cover the center portion up, so don't worry about those words, but I've just got this added with my double-sided adhesive. We're not putting dimension on this portion, but look how pretty that looks with that plaid border going around. So this is my English Tea Party doily from Cherryland Designs, and I'm going to put that right in the middle. You see how well that covers that wording on the bottom. And then my favorite cut apart from this collection is this Hello Sunshine. It's a beautiful pink tag with a gold foil border around it. And I did put this on a foam spacer. This is going to be the only dimensional thing we're popping up, and that fits perfectly. So this is going to be our front cover, and you can see we're going to get nice detail from our doily in the flowers that are printed on the paper. So here is where it folds open like a book, and I'm bringing that plaid on the inside as well. For this side of the page, I'm going to add a tip-in. I'm utilizing the cut-aparts that have space where journaling can be added for this, and then I just put a bit of off-cut on the back so that it would be finished front and back, and then I'm just adding that with the tab secured on the back, and it will be sandwiched between the pattern paper and the base. And then for this side, I just cut a rectangle that has a scalloped edge and a little stitching detail, and I put a layering pattern on top just so that it would look a little bit more detailed on this side as well. So I'm going to do the same thing for the back page, and I'm using the exact same papers as well, so this will be easy to get through. And I just wanted to mention while I'm working along here how much I have enjoyed having our question of the day. I usually just talk about myself, but now I get to learn about you guys as well. So that really helps to build our community. I don't know if I have specific questions for days that aren't holiday, but you guys can help me out if you want to drop some suggestions in the comments below what you think would be a good question of the day. So for today, I think it will be, what are you making for dinner? So I think we're going to have a white chicken chili that I have adapted to fit our family's lifestyle. We don't eat meat, but there are lots of really good substitutions that I can use and make a delicious white chicken chili. So let me know in the comments what you think would be a great question of the day, and then also what are you making for dinner? And that will be fun to see what you guys are having. And I'm just doing this the same way as I did on the front cover with my tip-in on the outside so that we don't create additional bulk in the middle where the fold lines are. And then here is the same added layering detail with the scalloped rectangle. So here is the front and the back all finished, and there's plenty of room to add pictures and journaling here. So let's work on the first top folding area. Okay, so remember we're going to be utilizing that one large 12 by 12 sheet that had all of the foiled writing in the middle. That doesn't appeal to me because I want to cut my papers down to a smaller size for smaller projects. So I've got to cover up that writing. I cut this to be the same 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. I'm going to use the same borders, and I'm going to utilize one of those strips from the cut apart sheet to disguise this portion of a word. I don't know that it matters if you go right or left, but I would say use your border strip on the same side for both portions. I think that would look a little bit more coordinated. So I'm going to aim my writing again to that side. This I think would make a really good holiday book as well, or a teacher appreciation. If you have one of those back to school collections, you could use that, or any holiday. This would work perfectly for. So here is our first top folding add-on. I'm going to do the same basically for the back piece. This time, however, my writing came in a little bit further, so I couldn't utilize one of those smaller strips. That's okay. I just cut a wider strip from the pattern paper, and it worked out kind of fortuitously because it's a little bit wider, and then I was able to pick a pattern that doesn't contrast as much. So this would definitely be a great place to add journaling. So if you put your picture here in the middle, you could write right on here and it would show very well. So let's put our top piece on too. I'm just moving this around because it's easier for me to get it positioned correctly if I can see it closer. Here's that last strip. I think lemons are so nice for summer. They're so vibrant and cheerful and nice. Okay, so here is our second top folding. Okay, so when you open this, the 2-page layout is here. Okay, so here for the middle, I'm going to bring in those stylized florals, and I think it works really nice because you can see the whole pattern without having too much layering on top. And I'm going to put another tip in on the side. Remember, we're keeping them toward the outside just to maintain the shape of the book. So I don't have measurements for you on these tip-ins only because they're different sizes throughout that cut apart page. So you'll just have to figure out what is working for the cut aparts that you have. I just usually add my border and then sandwich that flap in between the pattern paper and the base of the book. So it'll be very nice and secure. Here is this page for the left. I think having stylized florals really helps to update this, even though the colors are very vintagey. So here is just another coordinating pattern on the back and more of that gold foiling. I've got the same pattern for this side, and then this cut apart sheet had some journal cards with lines, and I think that's brilliant because you want to be able to include your memories that go with your pictures. This one is extra beautiful because it has that very foiled top on it, and it looks a little bit like a library card, I think. So I'm just going to put that right in the middle, and that will be a great place to add your journaling. Okay, so now we've got the last pages in the back, and remember this one does have that flap that comes up. So what I want to do is add my journal card again to the outside. I'm switching to that pink with the lemon and the foiling, and so I thought this journal card looked absolutely beautiful with that, with the diagonal plaid and the love on it. I'm just adding it the same as I did the other tip-ins, and I'll just tuck this here. And then because these two pages show together, I've got the same pattern for this side. Despite having a simple base, this really does get chunky and heavy and nice. That's exactly what you want your minis or your flip books to be, very sturdy and substantial. Okay, I'm gonna switch to a different pattern for the portion that flips up. I picked this specifically because I wanted to bring that foiling in here as well, but I didn't want to pair two florals together, so I just went with this, and I'm not really quite sure what this pattern is. Maybe a quatrefoil. You can let me know in the comments if you know what it is, but I think that it might be a quatrefoil because it meets on 4 sides. And that is beautiful and bright and cheery. Putting that same pattern here on the top. Okay, I've got one last journal card that I clipped down to fit, and this is beautiful. It has kind of like photo corners and very well partition lines, so you can put your writing on here. It'll be nice and neat, and it goes right in the center. So let's give this book a spin and see how it looks when we open it up. Here's the cover with our beautiful tag and our doily, and then this will flip open. We have a photo mat here and a tip-in for journaling. This whole portion will lift up and have a nice long strip. So if you have the Canon selfie printer like I do, you could print nice pictures and add them in a long strip here and really fill this space in well. So then we're going to open our book this way. We've got a larger journal tag with lines and another tip-in with the beautiful stylized florals. And then the back of the book is going to open just as the front did and have the same details. So lots of room for the pictures and journaling. And then the portion that goes in the back accordion is going to be another journal card and then another full page flip for this beautiful cheery yellow quatrefoil. And that is all for this book. Now, I mentioned that I was having a lot of fun with this collection just because I really love the colors and the stylized florals and the patterns, so I had some fun playing with that. Here's what I have created so far. I didn't go clean and simple for these cards at all. I threw every detail that I wanted to at them. There's flowers and die cuts and layering and lots of foam spacers, so I've built a lot of dimension. There's trims and buttons and charms and sequins. So this one has that beautiful plaid. This is a little bit more of a warmer, rich color palette. And then I put wrinkle ribbon instead because it just pulls that beautiful foliage color out. This one I've added a butterfly to. That was just part of my stash that I had, and I think it coordinates really well and adds a pretty focal point. I've also cut some of those sentiment strips with a banner die that has a stitching detail, and then pop those up. So that adds a lot of dimension and depth and becomes part of the focal point. These flowers are also going to get some pretty netting and loopy twine bows and die cut foliage. And this one is a little bit brighter and sunnier, I think. This one has the flowers, so these smaller flowers, and this one here in the back I created with those Altenew layering flowers. I've been having a lot of fun with those. They're just a lot of detail without a lot of dimension, and they're very nice to make if you're enjoying busy work while you have a show on. I put something on and then I just work and listen to my show. You can get a lot of these flowers made. So this is just an alternate flower, and I put another butterfly here. I used a tag die to clip down a portion of the journal card that I used here. I just wanted to have that beautiful trucy mustardy yellow on top so that I could bring it from the plaid to the front of the card, and that has a lot of sequin details as well. And then of course I couldn't help myself but make a slimline, and I used my pattern paper to cut the scalloped edge. It has a pretty plaid border around, and then my layering elements here. I put the tag on as well as the sentiment, and then lots of beautiful flowers that coordinate. So that's all for our tutorial today. Now, if you guys enjoyed this simpler less complicated style of mini albums and flipbooks, just let me know in the comments. I really had a good time creating this, and I did challenge myself not to go overboard with all the add-ons, and I'm quite proud of how it turned out. I think it's really sweet. And so remember, you can find links in the description for all our social media sites. Leave me a comment and a big thumbs up for this video. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.